Ladies and gentlemen, on my podcast today is a man who is well opinionated, but can also cover it with facts. Please welcome Greg Hackett. Peace, brother. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Man, I appreciate you taking the time out to give me some of your time and do this with me. So tell me where you from.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
What side? Because I
Sure.
knew a couple people on the north and I knew a couple people on the southwest.
Well, I'm North Philly, Germantown. You know what I mean? That section of the city.
Okay, okay. And how did you get started in boxing?
Um, just basically street fighting, getting in a lot of fights. My mom said I was, you know what I mean, becoming an angry kid. So, she said, go to the gym. I found out it was a gym around the corner from my house at a recreation center called Waterview. So I started there, 12 years old.
Okay, and you picked it up from there.
Yeah, that was,
Okay.
I mean, once I walked in and I saw the blood on the mat, I was like, this should feel good. I mean, because I ain't know, I knew, you know what I mean? I knew that the fights get brutal, but I didn't know it get brutal like that in the gym, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's
So
yes, sir.
I was like, damn, it's definitely for me. You know what I mean?
Okay. So did you come up through the was it the silver gloves and golden gloves?
No, I missed all that. Well, I fought in the Golden Gloves probably 3 tournaments. 1 year I got as far as the state champs, and that was it. And but I never been to like the nationals and stuff like that. I was, I was one of them kids. I mean, my father was, suffering with a drug addiction, so I didn't have, the real discipline that a lot of these guys coming up with now. So, you know what I mean? I was missing out on a lot because I was, enjoying life, being a kid, you know, exploring, just trying to, figure this shit out.
Yeah, definitely. I not understand that because I was one of those guys like that, running around,
Mhm.
ripping and running, trying to be involved in everything, trying to see what was more favorable for myself and everything. So you went from that to so about 17, 18. Were you still involved in boxing at that time or?
Yeah, I was always in the gym. I just never was super, consistent. I just, what I mean, I was always just in the gym, and when I took breaks, it was just for bullshit, just being out in the streets, hustling, selling drugs, you know what I'm saying, getting in shit. You know what I mean? But I always was in the gym. I always found my way in the gym. You know what I mean? And even when I wasn't fighting, I would go in just to spar. You know what I mean? Because it was like I just needed that feeling.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I spent a lot of time out in the streets. You know what I mean? Messing with girls, hanging out, stuff like doing all the wrong
All the
things.
regular bullshit. All the regular bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Definitely. Hey, I understand, man. I understand.
yeah.
So who were the fighters that you were inspired by growing up? Like, what were the fighters that you like to watch growing up?
I mean, growing up was like Meldrick Taylor. He was
Mm,
big in my Meldrick Taylor was big in my city, and then I fell in love with him because he was like the body type was the same. You know what I mean? We about the same height. You know what I mean? For the same weight class. So I kind of like I got hooked on Meldrick Taylor early. Bernard Hopkins, James Toney, Matthew Sa Muhammad, Jeff Chandler. It was a lot of guys. A lot of guys. I'm an open-minded guy, so you know what I mean? Roberto Duran, I love his heart. I love his intensity. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. My man, I mean, Ali, of course, Tyson. You know what I mean? Anybody. I love boxers.
was George Benton from around that way too?
Georgie Benton was from North Philly, but I never really got to meet. I never got to meet George Benton in person.
Okay.
Never in
Okay.
person. I
Okay.
just heard about him and I started studying him, when I got a little older, when I probably was like in my 20s. That's when I started like really
Yeah, he
looking
was
at
one. He was one of the great trainers of all time, man. Very good.
great
Very
fighters
good.
too.
Absolutely.
A
Absolutely.
lot of
I'm
people
glad.
don't know he my bad. He turned pro at 16 years old.
Talk
You know what I
about it.
mean? He was
Talk
handling
about
the
it.
yeah. So I mean, he was to me, he was a goat for sure. I mean, you fighting grown men at 16.
Grown ass
You know what I
man,
mean?
bro. And a lot of people, I'm glad you said that because Greg, when I talk to people about boxing, they don't know that shit. When I'm like, yo, do y'all know who George Benton is? Like the guy that sits behind Pernell Whitaker and Meldrick Taylor, like that motherfucker himself was special. He
Yeah,
ain't just no
sure.
dude out here wiping people brows and putting Vaseline on cuts. Like this dude was, he was certified in the game of war, bro.
And also a lot of people don't understand like after fighting, I think he had about almost 80 fights.
Yeah.
You fight that many times and then still have a sharp enough brain to coach world-class fighters. I
Yes.
mean, he's amazing guy.
Definitely. He was one of the guys that, as far as coaching goes, I give him like the all-time salute, because you can't get any better than that as far as coaches go. Him, Emmanuel Stewart, was it Lou Duva and Angelo Dundee.
Yeah.
Those are like high class guys. I would like to put Customato in there as well, because he had Floyd Patterson and he had Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Eddie Futch.
Yeah, Eddie Futch. Yeah, you cannot discount or not count. You can't count out Eddie Futch at all. Like he's one of those guys too. Definitely. So my next question for you, I asked everyone that from the boxing era, from the boxing field, this question: name your 5 best Mexican fighters of all time.
My 5 Mexican, of course, Chavez.
Mm-hmm.
I'm funny, man. I'm funny because it was a guy coming up in the early 2000s named Panchito Bajado. I just fell in love with that dude. You know what I mean? He never became, I don't think he became world champ, but his heart, man, his intensity level. So,
Okay.
I mean, Julio Cesar Chavez,
1.
Panchito Bajado.
That's 2.
Salvador Sanchez, of course.
That's 3.
De La Hoya.
That's 4.
Because De La Hoya was big in my time. You know what I mean? Coming up, Golden Boy. That's all you hear. Golden Boy. And I'm going to say number 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm going to say it was all right. I got one for you. This was my guy. His name was Yuri Boy Campus.
Okay.
That was my guy, Yuri Boy Campus. He was a gangster. He fought
De
La Hoya before.
He fought De La Hoya. Didn't he fight Raul Marquez too? Yeah. No.
Yep. He did.
Okay. All right. I'll ask everybody just to kind of gauge their understanding of boxing and how much they know about the overall landscape of boxing, especially the Latin fighters as well. So my 5, not that you want to know, mine would be Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales, Juan Manuel Marquez, Salvador Sanchez, and Ricardo Finito Lopez.
Okay. That's a good list, though. That's an elite list.
Hell yeah, it is. And Marquez beat two of those guys, I think. No, he didn't beat 2 of them. I know he beat Barrera for sure, but I don't think he had a chance to fight Morales.
Yeah, Marco Barrera. You said Barrera?
Yeah.
Tony Barrera, Eric Morales. I think they did. I don't know.
Morales and Barrera fought, but Marquez only fought Barrera. He never fought Marquez.
Right.
Morales.
Okay.
He never fought him.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. And the reason why people get mad at me when I don't include Chavez is because Chavez is something totally different to me. Like he deserves a plateau all by himself because
So you got Chavez like lined up with like Ali.
Yeah, like you got to put them in categories by themselves, man. You can't put them in categories with everybody else. They did something totally different. That. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. What did you like about Salvador Sanchez? Because we share that one in particular.
I mean, he wasn't just like straight Mexican style. You know what I mean? He had some good footwork, good hand speed. You know what I mean? He'd mix his shots, move his head a little bit, not a whole lot, but I mean, he'd get up out of there. You know what I mean? You saw that he was thinking in the ring.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't just fighting. He was thinking.
Yes. You know what I mean? And I like that about him. I also like the fact that he did use his jab, but his engine was running from the first round to the last round. You never seen him stop doing the same shit that he was doing. Even if he wasn't punching, he was moving. His hands was always moving. His head was always moving.
Yeah.
He was always, like you said, he was always thinking, staying busy and setting up shit, And I love that about Salvador Sanchez. So rest in peace to the legendary Salvador Sanchez on that front. He's one of those guys that I definitely love to to go back and watch when he beat up what's my man name, Danny Red Garcia or something like that. Those two fights that they
Yeah, I
had.
gotta check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he flushed him out. He flushed him out both fights. That I think the second fight was even more vicious because he was so used to
yeah,
just seeing who dude was that he just knew when he was just going to decide to take him apart. I definitely love that.
yeah.
Definitely enjoyed that. So tell me, what keeps you involved in boxing, bro?
I mean, to me, to be honest, like it's nothing else that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? You in this world is one thing that nobody can tell me they don't want to do it, which is punch somebody in the face. Everybody in the world think about at one point punching somebody in the face.
That's a fact.
That being in the gym, that give me a free feeling because even though I'm 35 and I, I ain't fought in 2 years, but it's like a year, but 2 years, but it's like I know if I walk in the gym in Philly, I ask for sparring, I can get that right away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's nothing like that.
And for those who are
Being
listening,
able to release that.
yeah, for those who are listening, Philly motherfuckers know how to fight. If a dude tell you from Philly, shut up. If you ain't prepared for all that smoke, shut up.
Yeah,
Shut
yeah,
up.
it's definitely
Listen.
smoky.
Oh man, it's gonna be heat. Like it ain't the fire that's gonna kill you. It ain't the smoke that's gonna kill you. It's the heat. Like them motherfuckers
Yeah.
can produce heat. I met a couple guys years and years ago on my road to boxing, and 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 they taught me about the knuckle game, and they was like, no, you
Hmm.
want we gonna show you something different though. You know, you want to cut a motherfucker, you want to hurt them. This is how you put these punches together. Years ago, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
He was like, no, this is how you
yeah,
do it. You turn them over like this. You would cut them motherfucker up. You would swell they shit up or you would cut them. I'm like,
yeah,
what? And he's
yeah,
like, no, this is how you do it, bro. This is how you do it. You get this how you fuck people up.
yeah,
And from that point on, I was like, oh, these Philly dudes is different, bro. Like, yeah,
yeah.
something different. Motherfuckers is from Philly is totally different, man. It's totally different. So do you have any pupils of your own? Are you coaching?
Yeah, I got a professional fighter by the name of Jabril Noble, 3-0, 3 knockouts, and I got a gang of amateur fighters, 4 of them active right now.
Okay. 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 So you definitely into the amateur circuit then.
Yeah, I wasn't always interested in amateurs, but it keep me busy. And also, you know what I mean, it's something about being in the gym and watching the kids walk in and they look forward to seeing you. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just something about it, you know what I mean? And it's like a way of giving back to the youth because you're keeping them busy. You know what I mean? You get to preach to them, you get to teach them. You know what I'm saying? You get to watch them develop. So it's like it's just something. It's almost like you just got to do it at some point. Because I really don't have a big passion for amateur boxing because one, I don't like that they let the kids down. You know what I mean? I see a lot of
Mm.
kids they really win fights and then you know what I mean because of politics, because of how they feel about the coach or because of how they feel about the kid, they'll rob the kid.
Talk
And
about
I
it.
really don't like I really don't like that because the kids you could break their spirit like that. And at the same time, it's a fight, but it's like amateurs is like more of a point system. You know what I mean, so you're not watching nobody really get the shit beat out of them. It happens, but you know what I mean. I'm really for that pro game. I like to watch a motherfucker get punished. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Put it together and then punish them. Yeah. The breakdown.
Yeah, that's my
The
yeah, that's my shit.
the amateurs is more like you gonna throw a bunch of punches and try to score. But certain fighters through the amateur system know how to set that shit up because they're actually
Yeah,
just
you
made
got
for the
some.
pros. They just made for the
Yeah, you
pros.
got some vicious balls. Yeah, you got some
Yeah.
vicious dudes in the amateurs.
Yeah. So you said you've been removed yourself from fighting for 2 years, 1 year.
Yeah, about 2 years.
Is
I
there
think my last
anything? Is there anything that would get you back in?
motherfucker. It really all it takes is a phone call with me. The right phone call. I take a fight. That's what I do. I love fighting. So, you know what I mean? They call me. I really just ain't been focused on myself. I've been focused on the kids. I've been focused on my guys, the pro guys. So I really, you know what I mean, ain't really been paying attention too much to myself with fighting. You know what I mean? I'm more so been developing into a teacher. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And from the clips I'll be watching, I'm like, dude, yo, my man's is ready now. He might as well just become a coach. Like you almost there, bro. Why
Yeah, I've
not?
been coaching. I've been coaching for 10 years now.
Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
I didn't know
Yeah, I've
that.
been coaching for 10 years. I started coaching in 2012 with the amateurs, you know what I mean? But I developed a couple amateurs into pros back then, early, um 2013. So I've been coaching pros since 2013.
Okay, cool, cool. What fighters on their way up should we be watching for, amateur or pro?
That I have, or just anybody?
Anybody you got that you
Well,
got nationally, whatever it is.
oh well, my favorite, I'm gonna break it down. My favorite heavyweight is Jared Anderson out of Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean, dude is just vicious with skills. I like young boy. He a monster. My favorite light heavyweight is Atif Overton from Philly. I think he's 5-0 right now, 5 knockouts. Um, let me see. I got it's some welterweights, of course, a lot of welterweights. We got welterweights in the gym. Ty Capone. Well, we call him Ty Capone, but his name Tamir Smalls. We got of course, Boots Ennis is in there. Everybody know him, you know what I mean? But he the next best thing, I believe. We got Christian Cardo in the gym, the cool boy. It's a lot of guys in the city, you know what I mean, that I like. Nationally, of course. I mean, all the guys that people talking about now. I like Shakur, I like Tank, you know what I mean? The young guys. I ain't a big I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not a big fan of a lot of these styles, but I like the guys,
Okay.
but it's these styles I don't like.
When you say that the styles you don't like, what is it? Is it
So
something that they're
everybody's
lacking?
no, it's not so much lacking. It's just they not trying to. It's like all right, so it's a lot of this shit going on where guys is fighting pick 'em fights where they fighting ducks, what we call them, and they running around calling themselves monsters, and I'm like, yo, you ain't fight nobody yet. And on top of that, the style, what I mean by style is everybody got this patient style where they trying to counter. They trying to counter. So that kind of makes the fight boring because they sitting back waiting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Where you could be creating some situations and go ahead and get your guy out of there. You know what I mean? Or it's like some of these guys is like strung up on strength and conditioning. So they going in there just on some strictly strong shit.
You're trying to bang
And you know what I
motherfuckers
mean?
out. Yeah.
Yeah, they not really working on the skills. So that's what I'm saying about the style. Like I like
Okay.
skills. I'm big on
I'm
skills.
big on skills too, man. Balance, especially your balance, making sure that your balance is perfect so you can throw punches, defend, and counter at the same time.
For
And
sure.
yes, sir. And making sure you know that you know how to throw a jab. The who's, the what's, and the whys and the hows of boxing. Like I'm big on that. If you can, if you
Yeah,
can,
for sure.
if you can master that, then I know that once you get in the ring, you'll see what I'm seeing, and you will be able to get a fighter out of there, or you'll keep him at distance, and he won't be able to. And you can just undress him for the whole fight.
Right.
Yeah. So, you mentioned Shakur Stevenson. What did you think of that fight when he fought Oscar Valdez?
I thought it was a great fight. I mean, he was brilliant the whole
Mm-hmm.
fight as far as keeping distance, as far as timing the shots, picking his shots. But the only thing I didn't like, I felt like he could have got Oscar Valdez out the ring. I could have got him out early. I felt like he could have picked it up a little more and and beat on Valdez. But I think he just really just wanted to outclass him, just make him look like a fool. You know what I mean?
So I agree with that, but I was
Hmm.
feeling around. I felt around round 8 or 9, he could have just pushed it and be like, "Yo, you don't belong in here no more."
Yeah, yeah, beat you up. Yeah, get up
Yeah,
out of there.
yeah, because it was clear at that point that he could take the punch when he was stepping into the inside, and that Oscar couldn't do nothing. Oscar was worn out at that
Right,
point, and it was just like, "Yo, just push the gas, push
right.
him back, make him go back and see how you feel about it. You know, wear his ass out." But I like Shakur, man. I think Shakur is the next best thing since sliced bread. Him and
Right.
Boots as well. What did you think about that? Because they lost 2 weeks in a row, right? That camp, the Reynoso camp. It was Oscar Valdez, and the next week after
Oh
that,
yeah, and then Canelo.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bivol to me is a real light heavyweight, and that was the
Mm-hmm.
difference. Now, of course, Kovalev is a real light heavyweight, but a damaged light heavyweight. You got to remember that Andre Ward beat him the first time, beat him up the second time, and on top of that, they say I don't know how true it is, but they say he suffered with a little bit of an alcohol addiction.
He
So
do,
I felt like
yeah.
that was set up for Canelo to win. Now, when you fighting Bivol, you fighting a big, strong kid who's the same age And you know what I mean, his skill set is a lot better than Kovalev's. Kovalev just, he trying to line up that big 1-2, and if he could crack you with a hook, he will. But you know what I mean, he was used to getting guys out with, just the straight shots. Bivol bring a little bit more to the table. You know what I'm saying? He good with his feet, knowing his distance. You know what I'm saying? He keep his hands up high, catching shots. He counter. I mean, he go to the body. You know what I mean? He turned them hooks. He was doing the right shit in there, and I just felt like he was too much man for Canelo.
Yeah, he was. He was. I think Canelo bit off more than he could chew that fight.
For sure, he did.
Yeah, he
And
did.
Canelo, and another thing is, them guys the same age, but Canelo has a lot more wear and tear. So I felt like he was trying to pick that guy because he thought it would be an easier fight, but really it turned out to be the opposite because, you know what I'm saying, his body started to counter react. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't getting the results that he usually get with, the lesser opponents.
Yeah, and it's no disrespect toward Canelo because I know people gonna think that I be hating on dude, but I like Canelo.
Right.
I just think that if you look at his last 4 or 5 opponents, he's chosen guys that he know can't do nothing with him. That he's
Right.
chosen guys that can't hurt him or won't respond to Canelo the way that a Charlo or a Benavidez or Andre would. Like those guys would just back up and just
Yeah.
take it. And even in the case of
Because
Caleb Plant, who's a good
yeah.
who's a good boxer, but there ain't nothing on the
Right.
punch. So to me, it's no disrespect to Caleb Plant, but he sort of still has that amateur style where I'm gonna get in, and then I'm gonna get it out and I'm gonna move around, right?
And I
So
and I yeah, I felt like Caleb Plant too much. He had too much respect for Canelo.
I
Too
agree.
much. Because it was almost like, I hit the lottery. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the feeling I had from it.
And for me myself, I was looking at like, dude, you're gonna have to get his respect, make him back up, make him think twice about coming in. That's what you want.
Right. He, and he was definitely capable, but you know what I'm saying? He just caught up in the lights.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But I think the night Canelo fought Bivol, he bit off more than he could chew, and he didn't expect Bivol to be in the fight all the way through the fight. Once they got to round 6 or
Right.
7, and you saw Bivol turning over the hook off of counters, I said, "Oh, it's a different fight now. It's a different fight." He break
Mm-hmm.
every 3 rounds. He brought out something different. He did something down. I said, oh, "Okay, cool. Yeah, he gonna be in control for the rest of
Mm-hmm.
the fight. Canelo can't do nothing with him." Do
Yeah, he
you
paced
think?
himself real good.
Yeah, he did pace himself real good because Buddy ass Canelo gassed out. He
Mm-hmm.
gassed out. Do you think that Bivol wins the second fight?
Yeah, for sure. He's just too much man. He just too much. And I don't mean too much like as if like he gonna, make like he annihilate Canelo. It's just that his package is like it's specifically made for a guy like Canelo.
It's
You know what
solid.
I mean? What he
It's
brings to
solid.
the table, yeah, he definitely solid, and he got a lot of shit that people didn't know he could do.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
got
he
that.
brought
He
it
got
out.
that
Shit.
toolbox. He got that toolbox.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
you need to have that toolbox. You can't just go in there and be able to do one thing great and not do nothing else. And I feel like Bivol is one of those guys that can do. He showed that he could do a lot more. I can feint with my feet. I can feint with my jab. I can feint with my head. I can move around the ring. I can box. I can counter punch. I got all these different tools, and you just chose the wrong guy.
Right.
Yeah, because and when they were saying they were gonna do that fight at 168, I said I don't see the difference. I don't see what's gonna
Right.
change.
I see Bivol being faster and stronger.
Faster and stronger. Because now you're telling me that now I got time to work on being at 168 and watching you do what you're gonna do in your next fight. And you couldn't even beat me in the
Mm-hmm.
first fight. So I don't see that. I don't see anything different changing in that fight.
Mm-hmm. Great fight.
Yes, sir. All right. My next question for you is Bud Crawford, Errol Spence. Who you got?
I mean, of course, it's a 50-50 fight in my book because you're talking about two of the best who haven't lost. But Bud is Bud is, he the guy that's unpredictable. He's unpredictable not because of the stances where he can switch southpaw and orthodox. It's not that. It's just you don't know how he gonna be feeling that night. You don't know if he feel like boxing. You
Yep.
don't know if he feel like beating you up. So he's exciting. Earl Spitz is a freight train. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you like it, he coming. He working. You know what I'm saying? And he
He
gonna
gonna
try to run
fight.
you over. He gonna try.
Yep.
He gonna swing. He gonna swing with bad intentions. And if you can stand it, it still could be bad for you because he giving that shit out. You know what I mean? It's in abundance. You know what I'm saying? He giving it out, but it's like that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's 50-50 because they both best at what they do. You know what I'm
So
saying?
I
So you
like in
can't
that
really
fight.
pick.
I'm gonna tell you, I like in that fight again to uh Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns. Do you feel that's accurate, or would it be Leonard versus or would it be Hearns versus Hagler?
I think it'd be more like I think it'd be more like uh Leonard versus Hagler, yeah. Because
Okay.
I don't see nobody really getting knocked out. I see him just going through it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Bud gonna have to come up with a scheme. You know what I mean? But at the same time, Earl gonna have to be ready to take some big shit.
Yeah.
I mean, cause Bud at any time could switch over into the street fighter and start giving that shit out.
Bro, I keep telling people that like y'all are not paying attention to this boy. Like he can
Mm-hmm.
punch. Like it ain't you don't have
Yeah.
38 fights with 28 knockouts for nothing.
And you gotta remember he's doing it at different weight classes. So that means he definitely got to punch. He
Talk
definitely got to
about it.
punch because he's doing it at different weight classes.
Different weight classes. And I've never seen,
Mhm.
like, I think you kind of said this earlier. I've never seen anybody talk Bud out of his game plan.
Mm-mm. He a
On
true,
any,
but yeah.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I'm about to say Bud is a true competitor. You know what I mean? He gonna find a way to win.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing we know about Errol is even though he's a good boxer, we know at the end of the day, he want to bang, he want to fight.
He want to beat you up. Now we seen him box against Mikey, so we know he can box. But
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean, that was
no disrespect to Mikey, but Mikey ain't the top ain't no top notch boxer.
no, he can box, but he ain't. Yeah, he
He
not
ain't
top
that.
notch.
He ain't that.
No, he ain't. No, he don't come. He don't come with the little slick shit. He know how to just bounce on his toes a little bit, keep his hands up high,
And put it
and beat you with
together.
a jab,
Yeah.
if he can. But he was just too small for Earl. But I felt like Earl gave him a little bit too much respect because of who he was.
I don't think it was that. I think that all night he just wanted to prove that I can outbox this guy, and I don't have to go for the
True.
knockout.
Well, that was probably because it was the easier way to go about it.
But the only thing about that is now everybody looking at it like, yo, you couldn't knock Mikey out. I bet if that was
Yeah, yeah,
Bud would have knocked him out, which we all know
yeah. Bud would have wiped him up.
Bud would have wiped his ass out of there, cleaned him up and got him out of there. Rinse, washed,
Uh-huh.
dried, all of that shit. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we seen against Sean Porter. Sean Porter was able to force Errol into the type of fight that he wanted.
Yeah,
With Bud, you're not gonna get
yeah.
that. Bud's gonna do what he wants to do the night of the fight.
And that's funny you brought that up because Bud is a different dude, man, because Sean didn't quit. His father did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
his father quit because of the fear he had of that man. I mean, it was one thing I paid attention to in the buildup, and it was the story that Kenny Porter told where Bud had kind of cornered him in a hallway,
Mm-hmm.
and Bud challenged him to a fight, and he turned it down. He admitted, like he told him, "Go ahead, man. I'm a man, you a kid." But Bud was a man. Bud was like 18, 19, maybe 20 years old. He was a man. My thing is, if you old enough, I'm gonna punch you in your mouth.
Yeah.
But something spoke on that. You know what I mean? When he said, you know what I mean, I told him just go ahead.
I had to
I felt
stand
like he
down.
feared Bud.
I had
Yeah,
to
I
stand
felt like
down.
he feared Bud. Yeah, I felt like he feared Bud, and having his son in there with him, and then having his son being manhandled like that, I felt like he was like, "No, it's over," and
It's
he
something
quit.
different for a nigga from the street though. Like, and I don't mean that negatively. Like, it's something different from when you come from the
Yeah,
street and a guy like Bud who been shot in the back of the head, and he wanted this get back from
yeah,
some shit like that. Like, we're talking about a different type of animal.
yeah. Because and a lot of people not gonna relate. A lot of people can't understand. But when you out on the street, your life is on the line every day. So danger becomes your friend. You know what I mean? Danger becomes, you know, something that you're comfortable with. So getting punched in the face, that's, you know,
That's
that's
nothing.
nothing.
That's
So
that's easy.
now we talking about he fighting a guy who was raised by his father. I've been watching Bud just as long as everybody else. I never even heard of his father. So that means a lot of times he spent out in that street rumbling on his own. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Nobody there to regulate the fight. Nobody there to, you know, to say, son, you don't have to fight. You know what I mean? All you got to do is go to school. You know what I mean? He was in the mix. So those type of guys, a lot of times, I mean, they'll go out on their shield if they have to.
Yeah. He
But that's
understand.
what makes them dangerous.
Yep. He understand what get back is. If you hurt me, I got to hurt you. Like it's different from
Yeah,
when you talking about a guy like Bud. And I try to tell people that, but there are those who don't understand just because they love what another fighter can do, and that's fine. Like
right.
I definitely love Errol. I love what Errol is stands for. I love what he's able to do. Errol is a fighter. He gonna hit your hips. He gonna hit your arms. He gonna hit your collarbone. He gonna hit you behind the head, on the ear, on the temple, everything. He wants to fight,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
there are guys out there who can respond to that shit, and they have no problem standing in there with that and going, all right, cool, you're gonna get
exactly.
yours, but in a minute you gonna fuck up, and when you fuck up, I'm gonna
Yeah,
capitalize, I'm gonna make you pay for this shit. And one thing about Bud is you can't make too many mistakes in there, because if you make one and he catches it, you're gonna pay for it.
and really the worst thing to do with Bud is to show him that you panic. You panic in front of him, he gonna bring that shit out.
Yeah.
He gonna bring that shit out.
Yeah, because he can smell it. He can smell it. You spoke
Hmm.
on Cool Boy Steph. How was that watching him in the gym, man? Because from the outside looking in, watching him box,
Yeah.
and then the way he just went in there with Figueroa and just mixed it up, I was like, what?
Well, to be honest, that's because he's another version of Bud. And what I mean by that is he's a street kid. He a nasty kid. You know what I mean? He don't look like it. He got all his teeth, got a nice little pretty smile on him. You know what I mean? So so people mistake that for a nice guy, but in reality, he really a nasty guy, and not in life, because he one of the coolest people you will meet. And if you call him, he'll pick his phone up. You know what I mean? He not no nut, but he a nasty dude when it come to fighting. He gonna find a way.
Mm,
And that's the same with Bud. So that's why Cool Boy is dangerous, because you might say, oh, he gonna box tonight. Nah, he feel like fighting. And you might say he feel like fighting tonight. Nah, he gonna box you. You know what I mean? He gonna switch it up because he another great competitor. He just wanna win. He don't like losing.
bro, I watched that Figueroa fight 5 times so far,
Yeah,
and I'm still trying to
same.
figure
Yeah,
out.
same.
I wish I could talk to him and ask him, why the fuck did you go to the inside? Did you know that he just couldn't, he couldn't hurt you, or did you just knew how to smother this
Well,
motherfucker, man?
well, the truth is, like, we gonna mix science a little bit with, you know what I mean, with attitude and all that. We're gonna mix the science part. The science part is a lot of guys that go forward, they muscles work going forward. If you push them back, the muscles don't work the same.
Talk
So your
about it.
body will start to give out. Another thing is about pressure. Pressure don't like pressure.
Talk about it.
When you jam pressure together, only thing happens is gonna burst.
Yeah,
You
it'll
know what I
stand
mean?
still.
Whatever
Yeah.
type of pressure you jam together. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? I felt like Cool Boy was like, I'm a man too. I mean, you ain't gonna just walk up on me and swing on me. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
ain't doing that. And sometimes with boxing a guy, it can feel like that. You might not even be really getting pressure too crazy, but just the fact that you on your toes and you moving backwards sometimes me feel like, hold up, I'm giving this guy too much respect. Matter
Mm-hmm.
of fact, I want this guy to remember my name. So you know what? I'm gonna meet him in the middle and we're gonna bang this shit out.
Yeah. Definitely.
I felt like that's what it was.
Definitely. Because he definitely, and you know, they say that all the time. When you fighting a puncher, you got to go to the gut. You got to hit him in the gut to get him to chill the fuck out. And once you get his respect,
Hmm.
then you can break him down and go to your game plan. And it seemed like once
Hmm.
Cool Boy went to the inside, even though Figueroa was throwing punches, you just seen the effect of Steph being able to stand in there on the inside and be effective. And it was like, yo, he got it. He got it. The dude is cutting him down slowly but surely. And then after the fight, you look at
Hmm.
Figueroa, go, yo, I won the fight. And Steph told him, my man, look at your face. What fight did you win? Look
Yeah,
at your face.
yeah, I was putting my hands on you. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. I like to see fighters like that. Your favorite 5 fighters of all time?
All time. I mean, Ali,
Okay.
James Toney,
Mm,
uh, Duran, Purnell, and Meldrick.
that's 4, right?
Ali,
Mm-hmm.
Tony, Duran, Purnell, Meldrick.
Okay. Okay. You pick some dogs,
Hmm.
bro.
Yeah, that's my I think that's my 5. Yeah.
You pick some dogs, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, James Tony one of my favorite all time.
Talk to me about that. So what made you pick James Toney? Because I love James Toney, but what makes you pick
Well,
him?
well, the first thing was the story. You know what I mean? He began boxing after high school. I mean, and I heard he was a football player. And then so he picked it up kind of late. And then he turned pro in a 2-year span. He became 24-0 with I think it was 22 knockouts.
Mm,
So that's rumbling, that's fighting every month.
yeah, or
You know what I
more.
mean? That's fighting every month for 2 years straight. And then his skill set, and after the skill set, his heart, and then after that, the shit talking. He take you all the way out your game. He take you all the way out your game, stand in front of you, make you miss, hit you with some great counter shots, make you miss some more. You know what I mean? And then when he beating on you, he's smiling, he laughing, he think it's
Yeah.
funny. Like, I mean, then I'm breaking you down.
He's the only fighter, the only one of 2 fighters that I know that fought with the Philly Shield on the inside. It was Nicolina Locha and him. That's it. That's as far as I know as far as fighters that fought on the inside with the Philly Shield shoulder roll.
Georgie Benton too. Yeah. Georgie Benton, Nicolino, yeah, James Toney. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you seen a lot of that back in the day though. If you pay attention to the old tapes, you see a lot of that
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of the ones that was just so effective with it. If you made one mistake throwing the shot, and it was out there for too long, you call hell for it.
Yeah, he was around some great teachers, man. And the Midwest dudes, they got a lot of little sneaky shit they do, you know what I mean? But it's like it's missing now because you know what I mean, the old head's not around. So a lot of
Facts.
these guys, they trying to rush and get to the top. So I'm talking about the trainers, you know what I mean? They missing a lot of the like good shit, you know what I mean? They just, they giving out what they know and they pushing these guys, but that craft, you know what I mean, a lot of that craft, you ain't seeing too much of it.
Do you take time with your amateur fighters and your pro fighter to kind of teach some of that and implement it into what they're doing so they understand it?
Yeah, because in Philly it becomes natural because you know what I mean everybody doing it. So you know what I mean you just at some point it just come out. You know what I mean? It's not even like I think about it like, all right, today we're gonna work on this. It should just come out because you might be watching the guy on the bag and then you give him a different option and it's like, damn, you giving him some of that craft. You know what I mean? Without even really realizing it though. It's just happening.
What's more important to you, being able to fight or knowing the fight, like the mindset, like having a skill set for it? Because some guys go out there and they're just able to just throw punches and hit hard. Do you think you should rely more on the actual skill of it?
Well, I say skills is important because skills will save your life.
Absolutely.
Not so much about the offensive part. It's the part where you know what I mean you might get hurt in there because a lot of people don't understand in boxing. One of the things is a lot of times guys get hurt. A lot of times, but you'll never see it because of the composure. And you got to know how to work your way out and then get back and not only work your way out, get back into the fight and take over. So I'm gonna always go with skills because skills could take you a long way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How often do you come across guys that just want to go in there and just punch though? Does that happen a lot? The guys just want to come to the gym and I just want to fight. I don't need to know the
Yeah,
skill.
Yeah, that's every day. I mean, you get a guy like that in the gym, but what you do is you put him in there with somebody, not so much like over him, but somebody that you could definitely see that will make him pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start to respect the craft. Once they be like, damn, G, I couldn't get away from that hook. I couldn't get away from the right hand. And then you got to explain to them why. But it's up to them if they want to get it or not.
Facts. That's facts, bro. I watched that a lot growing up. Once I understood what I was doing and what was going on in the ring, it was just like, yo,
Yeah.
there's too much to this shit for motherfuckers to just come in here and think that you can just throw punches. Like, there's no way you think you
Yeah.
can come in here and just throw punches and think that you're gonna be successful as a fighter. Do you
Yeah.
think
It ain't
some of
working
that
out.
was
It ain't going.
missing? You think some of that was missing with a guy like Deontay Wilder? You think that he just skipped out on that part?
You said some. That was most of it. You know what I'm saying? Because we talking about a guy who's 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", and his legs look like Bambi legs. Like he really got trouble. He really, like, real rap, he got trouble, you know what I mean, even just stepping around. And then when he throw his punches, he putting so much into the punches, he leaving his feet. So I felt like that was the big difference with him and Tyson Fury. What people don't understand with Tyson Fury is he's a true student of boxing.
Talk
And
about it. Talk
he
about it.
proved that he he proved that when he brought Sugar Hill into his camp, because he said to himself, I need to elevate, I need to go up, I need something to excite me. So he brought a teacher to his camp, and look what's happening. Now you fight one of the biggest punchers in the game, or the biggest puncher in the game, and then you make him look like a kid. It's because of the skill set. Now, had Deontay Wilder had half of that, way better fights.
Woo.
Even though those fights was exciting, but I mean, way better on his behalf. He would have, you know, what I mean, he would have caused some trouble because his punch is devastating. But that's all he really have. He don't
And
have
that's
nothing else.
that's what I was telling somebody. Imagine if Deontay Wilder had the skill set of Thomas Hearns and he could disguise that punch before he landed it.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
would have been, all these fights would be so much different, and nobody would want to fight him.
Hmm.
Like, they definitely
Right.
would stay away from him. But when you don't have, and it's not to disrespect him, because I don't ever want to think that I'm disrespecting fighters, but when you don't have the skill set that allows you to land those punches effectively, and we see it, and
Right.
we can pinpoint what's wrong. Everybody in the boxing world sees it, and they know how to capitalize on it. They know how to game plan for
Right.
it, man, like that.
He just, I mean, Wilder just became predictable. He
Super
kept
predictable.
speaking on his power, and he let us know that's all he wanted to do. So Fury capitalized off of that.
Yeah, what was the saying he had? It takes me 12 seconds to win the fight. You all have to try for 12 rounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once you start talking
And he
like that,
believed that.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. So what fights are you looking forward to coming up?
I mean, right now, of course, Tank and Rolly. I mean, that's a good fight far as the energy, far as the build up. But
I
I
don't want
think
to
Tank
see
gonna
that.
blow his head off.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
want to see that
I
fight.
think I think Tank definitely gonna knock him out.
You think how far you think it goes? You think it goes 10 rounds? So you think that fight goes 9, 10 rounds, or earlier than that?
You talking about Tank and Rolly?
Tank and roller, yeah.
Man, I think 4 rounds. I think he gonna get Rolly out in 4 rounds.
All right. I hear that, but I feel like if it were me, I'm thinking that Tank might just go for the punishment and then go for the knockout. Like, bust him up, break him down, make him feel it, and then get him up out of there.
Yeah, I think that's the smart idea, but I think it's gonna be a war. So
Mm.
when it's an all out war, somebody gotta go. Tank, I think Tank gonna, he gonna start off boxing, but Rolly he got good size to him. So with the size, I'm not saying it's gonna be too overwhelming for Tank, but I'm saying it could become overwhelming. You know what I mean? Because he's standing over top of you. It's not like Pitbull Cruz where he under you. He's standing over top of you. So
And I hear
sometimes
that,
that could,
but you just got through a Barrios, so you know what the distance looked like.
yeah, different animal though. Barrios, tall, lean guy. I mean, Rolly's shorter than Barrios, a lot more stocky, bigger shoulders. You know what I'm saying? He can look overwhelming. He can look wide, like he's, you know what I mean, like he's smothering you. And I
Yeah.
think he's gonna force Tank really just, you know what I mean, go off and open up on him
And Tank is gonna open up, all right. He gonna
for
feel
sure.
all that shit. Every last one of them,
Yeah.
all that shit incoming. That's all that's all. I don't even want to watch that fight, man. I just feel bad.
Yeah,
I'm serious. I feel
that's gonna be
bad.
crazy.
I
Yeah.
feel bad. I really feel bad because it's like you annoyed this man that much to the point where now you got the fight you want. Like you have to figure out a way to do more than plant your feet and throw these act. Like you got to do more than that.
Yeah. And ain't nobody standing there for that shit.
Mm-mm.
But he gonna have to, like you say, I mean, he gonna have to pay for it though. He gonna have to, a lot of shit he was saying, a lot of shit he was doing, the antics. You know what I'm saying? He gonna have to pay for that shit.
Big time, bro. I can't wait to see that and see how it plays out. What did you think of the Charlo Castano fight?
Charlo Castano, I felt like Charlo could have made it an easier fight with a more effective jab. But he jabs, but like I
Mm.
said, it's one at a time. He jabs one at a time. Another thing is, Charlo, it's like Charlo don't like throwing uppercuts or some shit. Because I felt like an uppercut would have been perfect for Castano because he was
He
sitting
was
into
trying.
it.
He was trying. He got a
Yeah,
couple.
yeah, but
He got it in there a few
but
times.
if you notice, a lot of times he's standing up when he do it. When you turn the uppercut, you gotta sit down and get your leverage. You know what I mean? Because the shot is coming from under and going up, so you got
Yeah.
to be sitting down. You know what I mean?
You gotta grab the mat.
Yeah, you got to be planting your feet. So I felt like, you know what I mean, he would have tore his head off with the uppercut. And I just feel like a lot of the wild punches be unnecessary. But I mean, he's a super dog, super conditioned, powerful. He's powerful all the way through the fight. Castano, I felt like he fought a stupid fight and got knocked out.
He was just it's like he was just going for it. Like I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get to the inside and just and do
I
what I
felt
need to
like he,
do.
I felt like he was saying to himself, you know what? I fought this guy already. I could take his punch. I'm gonna just pressure him.
Nah,
But mm-mm.
nah. And I think what you said earlier a few seconds ago about Charlo was true too. That jab isn't consistent when it's pumping out there. Like it's just like he throws that
Mm-hmm.
one or two hard ones and he resets and he steps around. But that would have opened Castano up for a lot more too. But maybe did he do that in the last? Was it like that in the last fight?
It was kind of similar. It's kind of similar. But he
Okay.
just was trying to figure. I felt like the first fight he was trying to figure Castano out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of guys on they kind of make it difficult mental wise, you know what I mean? Because they overthink it. When really that boy, he ain't doing nothing special. He coming to you. Set him up, break him up.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about if it happens, Benavidez versus Plant? What do you think about that fight?
I think that's a good fight, but Benavidez is showing not that he's invincible, but I'm saying he's definitely claiming his spot at the king at 168 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's like them dudes got to be careful with him, man, because he having fun. Plant is coming off an ass whooping. So I don't think it's so fun for him anymore.
Mm-mm.
Now it's like life or death. Now it's like life or death. I gotta do this. You know what I mean? If I want to make some big money, I gotta. So I think it's gonna be a lot of pressure on Plant if that fight happen. Benavidez is gonna be in that mood where he having fun. At the same time, he went through some shit early in his career with, with of course with the drugs, and he sees that he has to take this shit serious, and he's been even more dangerous ever since that.
Do you think Plant can make it to 12 rounds?
I think he can, but he gonna have to fight him. Not, yeah, not perfect, but damn near perfect fight.
Okay, because I question that with David being an all-out pressure fighter and him having a good jab. His jab is decent. Like I question, can somebody stand in there with him and go 12 rounds with him being able to jab and then the selection of punches that David has?
The reason I say that is because the Darrell brother did it
Yeah,
with
but that's a
Anthony.
different animal, bro. Like them those are dogs as well.
No, but what he showed you was if you keep your distance well enough and you make him work, he'll become lazy. Benavidez got a little lazy in that fight.
Okay.
Because you got to understand, David Lemieux ran up on him. So, all right, you right here. I ain't got to work that hard.
Lemieux's a
But where
pressure
you make,
fighter, though.
but that's what I'm saying. And look what happened to him.
Yeah.
Because he put himself in the line of fire. Now, if you take yourself out of line of fire and you make the big man work more than he intended to, you know what I mean? Then you got a different fight on your hands.
Yeah. I like David though, man. I like David. I think David's a solid fighter.
He a monster.
Man. Yeah.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
For sure.
I like watching David. David gives you what you if you want to see an entertaining fight, he's gonna give you that all the way through. You know.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. You're gonna get your money's worth for sure.
Absolutely. But are there any other fights that you would like to see happen in boxing, period?
I mean, Haney Kambosos is fucking interesting as they get.
Ooh, who you got for that?
I mean, that's a 50-50 fight to me also because Kambosos is an all-out type of guy. He give you the inside work and the outside work. You know what I mean? He with whatever. Haney's is working on becoming a master boxer.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't all the way mastered it, but he's working on it. So this is gonna be interesting. Very interesting fight.
I feel the only way that Devin gets this fight is if he shuts him out or he knocks him out because it's over in Australia. What about you?
Of course, that's not even a question. But it can be done. But he got to be just doing the right shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Devin though. Like, I don't see him doing less than that though. Like, I expect Devin to pitch a shutout.
See, the thing is, Devin Haney's a kid still.
Yes, sir. 22, 23.
Sometimes when you're young, you do shit just to do it. If that guy can make him make a mistake, I don't know.
Mm.
And it's not. And I'm gonna tell you something. See, a lot of these guys is cheating. Mayweather was proven because Mayweather went up against the world as a young man. He was 18 fighting in international tournaments. When he went to the Olympics, I believe he was 19. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Devin Haney turned pro at 16, 17, coming off of junior Olympic tournaments.
Yeah.
So he's fought the best, but the best of the kids. He hasn't fought the best of the men.
Grown men, yeah.
So yeah. So when Mayweather came out, different pedigree because he's been in there with men.
Mm-hmm.
Haney is used to having shit his way. So what's gonna happen when somebody don't give him what he want?
It's gonna be different, but Devin just looks like the type of guy, man. He can just roll out of bed and just do that.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like that when you get in the right matchups. You gotta remember that.
True.
Matchups.
You right.
Matchmaking is one of the arts of boxing because you're putting them in there with the right guys. Jorge Linares, right, is a sturdy veteran, but a veteran, meaning he's been in for some time. You know what I'm saying? He's been in there a lot of times for a long time. So it's like at some point he got to die down. So when they put Devin in there with him, it was perfect timing.
Yeah, he had some tread on them tires. Yeah, definitely.
That's what I'm saying. Now you in there with a hungry beast that's undefeated like you are.
Yeah, and got a similar amount of fights as you as well. Yes, sir.
And he has a bigger win, even though it's only one. But that's a big win to beat Teofimo Lopez after Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko.
Let me say this because I said I bet on Kambosos to win that fight, and that's the God honest truth. I bet on Kambosos to win that fight against Lopez, and I'm only saying that because watching everything happen between the fight being rescheduled 2 or 3 times. Seeing Teofimo doing all the publicity and everything. All I ever saw was George Kambosos in the gym. That's all I ever saw. So it let me know that one guy was more focused than the other guy was. And when I started seeing it, I started going, okay, one guy's focused, the other one isn't. And usually when you're focused and you're dedicated to the craft, you can pull more out the bag than the other guy can.
And what you're speaking on is the mentality and the work ethic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you running around bullshitting, doing interviews, and I mean you having too much fun, I mean it could cost you, and it
Yeah.
cost him.
Yeah. Because
His mentality wasn't right.
this is boxing, man. You playing with your life.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is there any other fight out there that you would like to see?
The fight I would love to see right now, Lomachenko versus Shakur.
Oh,
I would love to see that fight. Two
you,
southpaws, two slick southpaws, two very well calculated southpaws. I would love to see that fight.
you think that we'll get that this year or next year?
I mean, either or is good with me.
Yeah. Who you got in that fight?
I don't know. That's a good fight.
Mm.
That's a good fight. And
You
Lomachenko has shown some holes, but it was with a different style. This is a style similar to his, where they look in the counter. So that's what would make it a great scientific fight.
so far you gave me two 50-50 fights, man. You gave me Bud Crawford, Errol Spence, and you said the Loma Shakur Stevenson. That's two 50-50
Mhm.
fights.
Yeah, that's how I feel about them fights.
Okay.
And like, and the reason you hear me say 50-50 all the time, a lot of times, is because anything can happen.
Yeah. That
You know what I
and
mean?
fights like that is to me, I get what you're saying. It's usually gonna come down to the guy with the most heart. Like who wants it more?
Yeah, who won it? Yeah, who won it? And that's why Tiafimo beat Lomachenko. I felt like Lomachenko was bored by that time because he was outclassing guys. He was just doing guys, even though he had lost before that, but that was early. And I felt like he was just becoming bored and becoming like stagnant. But the loss, I felt like woke him back up.
Yeah, it was like he went in there all lackadaisical, like I can get this guy from round 7 to 12. He'll fold up if I put the pressure on him, and it was too late by
Right.
then because now you got to
It
deal
was
with a
too late.
guy who's confident and he knows how to punch.
And that fight had to do with hunger too.
Mm-hmm.
Lomachenko is famous and he's rich and financially, you know what I mean? And Tio was looking for a fight to stamp him as one of the best in boxing. So he was hungry. He was hungry.
Yeah, but he that bit Teofimo Lopez in the ass later on too because he acted like he was sitting on top of the world because he beat Loma
And
I
that's
get
what
it
a
that
fight like that is.
that's a big win, but you hadn't done nothing else
Yeah,
beside that.
it's not over. It's not over.
No, sir.
I mean, he kind of handled it like it was over. Like, all right, I mean, I beat the one of the best in the world. I'm one of the best in the world.
Right. I
Now
beat the game.
y'all gotta come see me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was nothing
So
like
just
that.
as
Like you
quick
still
as
got to keep going.
yeah, he got on that roller coaster. That's what it was.
At the 135, how do you see it shaping out? Who would be the last top two guys or the last one guy standing at 135 in the
I think
next
it's
2-3
between
years?
Tank. I think it's between Tank and Shakur.
Okay. You looking at it the same way I'm looking at it. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's between Tank and Shakur. Tank is the nastiest one with the punching power, but with the skill set, and Shakur again is a he's a genius when it comes to the science of boxing inside the ring. He's a genius.
Do you think we'll get a lot of boxing from Tank in this Rolly fight?
In the first 2 rounds,
Okay. And after that, he'll just start chopping them down.
because 6 minutes is enough time to find your target. And I think he just from there he gonna go crazy
Yeah.
because he gonna because the thing is he don't like Rolly.
Nuh-uh,
See,
at all.
it's not that we fighting and you was talking shit. He really don't like Rolly. He don't like him. Like you could tell he don't like Rolly. He don't respect Rolly. He respect him enough to train and get ready, but I don't like you. So when you don't like somebody, you want to get rid of them. He don't want to just win. He want to hurt that kid.
Yeah, and
You
I
know what I
think he
mean? So
said I think he said I didn't just train for this fight, but I trained to knock him out. I think he said that. Well, I might be misquoting it, but I
for
think I
sure.
heard him say he trained to knock this guy out.
That's what a fight like that'll make you do because the
Absolutely.
kid talking so much and because of their history. They got a little bit of history. So it's like, bro, I don't really, you know what I mean? This is my chance to really get you out and shut you up and, leave you extinct.
Yeah, and fuck you up on the way. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna
Yeah,
definitely do it. I'm gonna definitely train hard enough to do that. Definitely,
yeah, yeah.
definitely. That's ooh, man. I'm gonna tune in. I really don't want to, but I'm gonna be tuned in to watch that fight, man, because I just want to see Tank put in some work, and I want to see how I want to see what it looked like when that man fall. But it'd be crazy than a motherfucker to see him put up a hell of a fight and extend it and go 12 rounds or do something spectacular.
If Rolly even just go the distance, he gonna line up some money for himself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If he get knocked out, it's gonna be an acting career. It's gonna be something after this.
Yeah. He looked like he got that retarded strength, though. Is it me? Am I just tripping? Or does he look like he got that retarded
No,
strength?
no, he definitely got it. But he gotta know what to do with it.
Yeah, I'll be looking at Buddy like, yo, he got retarded strength. That ain't regular strength. Like, that's retarded
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, he gotta know what to do with it though.
Yeah. That's the sad part. Like if you don't know how to put that shit together and know when to time and everything like that, it's a lost cause, man. Do you
Yes,
ever
sir.
come across fighters like that?
Yeah, it's guys, I mean, around that's just strong for nothing, but they don't know what they're working with.
Mm, mm. So in a case when they're stubborn like that, do you just dismiss them and send them to somebody else?
No, you just try your best to get them to learn. You know what I mean? The lesson. And what you do is you put them in with guys who not gonna let them do what they want to do. And
Mm,
one day, hopefully, they'll humble themselves.
okay, okay. Pernell Whitaker, you put him in your top five. What did you like about Pernell?
Yeah. I mean, the greatest defensive fighter ever. I never see anybody that comfortable in the ring. That's what that's what was amazing about Pernell. I've never seen nobody that comfortable to drop their hands, turn sideways, slip a body shot. How can you slip a body shot? Like,
Mm.
dude's nasty. Like, dude just nasty.
Sit on the ropes, bounce off the ropes, walk off on you, do a little dance,
Yeah,
all that.
he showed you how to use the entire ring. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Not just be in the middle, you know what I mean, just trying to dictate. He showed you how to use the ring.
And
And and if you made him mad, he'll whoop your ass.
yep, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Would outbox you, outclass you, but if you made him mad enough, he would step to the inside and bang out with you. Cause he put a
Yeah,
hurting on
whoop
Buddy
your ass.
McGirt.
He put a vicious hurting on Roger.
That fight was crazy. I think both of them gassed out that fight though. I think both of them
Yeah,
gassed out.
he went at yeah, he ain't like Roger. Roger touched him at the weigh-in, and that was a wrap. Like, you
Yeah,
shouldn't have touched me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And shit got ugly.
Rest in peace to the legend, man. I love watching Sweet Pea, man. That fight with
Both of them.
yeah, yes, sir. RP to Roger Mayweather too. What's the brother name that he fought over in France? I can't remember his name.
Shit. Damn.
I
Yeah, you
can't
got me with
remember.
that one.
Yeah,
I think I know what you're talking about, but you
yeah. But
got
they
me.
gave it was a draw where they gave the win to the other guy. I said, man, this is how I know. I know this is dirty. I know
Yeah,
this is
boxing's
dirty.
crazy, bro.
Do you think there's a way to improve the amateur circuit or the pro circuit with some of the shit that be going on, or will it have to be the boxers all get together?
With the pros, you got to make one belt. Got to be one big belt.
One
Got to
belt.
stop with all these belts. Yeah, you got to stop with all these belts, but they're not gonna stop with all these belts because that's how they they're making a lot of money like that. Because if you got a champion versus a champion, then it looks interesting. If you just got a challenger and the champion, then it's like nobody want to watch the challenger. You know what I mean? Nobody know him. But that's how they look at it. But then with the amateurs, I think what they need to do is involve the original coaches more and more. What I mean by that is when they go to the Olympics, they have to go with the USA boxing coaches, whoever is the Olympic coaches. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's
Mm.
fair to get a kid to that level and then you got to turn them over to a guy who barely know him.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you. Because yeah, hurting the sport. Like you get more guys to say, yo, I don't want to do it no more.
And and if you are going to do it that way, have some guys who are good at adapting to the fighters, not not to where the fighters have to adapt to them. They have to adapt to the fighters. You got to
Facts.
know each animal because all animals are different. I can't train the tiger like I train a bear.
Mm,
I can't train a bear like I train a horse.
mm.
You know what I mean? They be trying to train all them dudes the same. You can't do that.
Yeah, somebody told me that as well. Coming up in boxing, some guys are robots, some guys are painters.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then some guys just know how to jog, and you got to be able to figure out which guy is which when you got them, and when you,
exactly.
once you know what they're capable of, you turn him over. You give him the painters program, you give him the joggers program, you give him the robot program, and you let those
Yeah,
guys figure it out along the way because everybody is just not the same.
exactly.
That's yeah. I'm glad you said that, man. Man, I'm gonna end it right here, bro. Greg Hackett, I appreciate you jumping on here with me, man, and joining me. Hopefully, you'll do
Appreciate
it
you,
with me one day soon, man. I really, really, really appreciate you taking out your time to make this happen with me, ladies and gentlemen. This is
my
Greg
man.
Hackett. Hey, did you got anything going on, like website, anything that you want to plug real quick?
I mean, Instagram, Greg Hackett 86. On Facebook, Greg Hackett. My fighter Jabril Noble, he'll be fighting June 24th. We're going for 4-0. I mean, I appreciate everybody for tuning in.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of Full Profits Podcast. And as always, remember the mission statement when you're striving for greatness. God never puts you in a driver's seat if it's taken. We are done here.